Welcome, everybody, into the Lumberjacks 2026 Clark Cup Final Press Conference. We'll start with Lumberjacks head coach Colten St. Clair, and then we'll get some players, Carter Sanderson, Carter Amico, and Jack Chris. First, Coach, how are you doing today?
Good, how are you doing?
Good, thanks. So we'll start first off, if you have any opening statements you have before Game 3 and if needed 4 this weekend here at Trinity Health Arena.
Yeah, obviously we're down 0-2 in the series. I think the character in that room, everybody wants to keep playing. And the biggest thing for us, we've had a couple good days of rest, good practice day today. Now we're just focused on one shift at a time. And we know our backs are against the wall, but that's what we love about this group.
Coach, kind of talk to us about how last weekend went for you and kind of the message to the fellas this week as you lead into win or go home situations.
Well, we've been here before, I'll say that, so we have experience in that aspect of the game. You look at the first game, you can tell with both teams, the first period, there was a little bit of a feeling out process. There's a lot on the line, there's a lot of excitement. For us, I think we managed it pretty well. And the first two periods, actually, right, in both teams, it was very even, and then our game management got away from us a little bit in the third period. And at a time like this, it requires 100% focus all the time. You never know when that one bounce or whatever goes in the back of the net and the season's over. Second game, you could tell early on our guys were pressing and, a little bit more back and forth. Their goaltender played amazing. They had a couple quick transition plays, and again, you look at the bounce they had for the game winner, right? And you go through it again and again, and at the same time, I think our group made some uncharacteristic mistakes, but the best part about that is we can get back to who we are quickly and find our game fast.
What's this week look like for you guys? Obviously, Sioux Falls is an 11-hour bus ride away. Not the quickest of turnarounds, but still with a lot of travel between the two cities. How did you guys prepare for Game 3 tomorrow night or Friday night?
Well, originally we had, Monday as more of a maintenance day. And I think we also took another day yesterday. We were going to practice and decided just to have some of the guys that hadn't been in the lineup just to keep them engaged a little bit. And, you look at it in today's practice, the energy was there. I think the execution took a drill or two, but that's expected, a couple of days off. But we've had a lot of guys play some big, heavy minutes. And you look back even into the regular season, arguably seven out of our last 9 weeks we've been on the road. And a lot of travel. Our shortest bus trip really within that time frame was averaging, 5.5 hours. And so that's a lot. You look in the West, there's a lot of 2-hour bus trips. And so we have to manage while we're still getting good reps. And I think today you could see a little bit brighter look in the guys' eyes and a little bit more rest. And now we just have to, we fix some game management things, and now we just have to attack it.
What's the key to success for you guys as you head into Friday night?
Don't want to go home. I mean, if you don't want to and you get back to our game and understand that we put ourselves in this position, but you can fight out of that thing. And no matter what, it's going to be hard. To win a championship is hard. And that's why there's only one team at the end that's doing it, and that's why it's such a big sacrifice, and you see the emotion on guys' face when they do win. It's because of all that you go through throughout the year. So it's nothing new for us. Our backs are against the wall, but I'd rather other group really I'd rather go into battle with, because you just see the look on their face and how much they really care about each other. And that helps me wake up every single day and give it my all.
It's really been a talking point basically all season, but you say Muskegon Lumberjacks get back to our game. What does that look like?
It's a 200-foot game. It's structured, and then a little bit heavier on the offensive side, and we wear teams down. And you look up and down the lineup, and there's not necessarily one crazy offensive defenseman, not one absolute forward that only can produce offensively. Everybody plays in all three zones, 200 feet, and it's making them defend.
Obviously, the big crowd last week in Sioux Falls played a pretty big factor in the game. The energy was high. It was a pretty hostile environment for you guys. How big is it for you guys to get to now play games 3 and 4 in front of a friendly crowd here at Trinity Health Arena?
No, I mean, it's everything, right? It's a long season and a long process, and when you get here, finally, it's a breath of fresh air to play at home where you're really familiar with. And, we have better bounces. We know what those are. We know how the glass plays. And when our fans are, in the game, in the moment, we can feel that. We can. And it's those little things that help us as far as, when it's 45 seconds into a guy's shift and a puck bounced over his stick and he's got to track back all the way in the D zone. And when your mind's telling you can't do it or you're too tired, you get a little bit of an adrenaline rush when you hear people cheering for you. And, that's what we're looking forward to this weekend.
Do you have any questions? No? Jay? Stan? Bridget? Anybody want to ask a question? Awesome. Coach, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Means you're going to go to the far side, Sando in the middle, Chris on the near side. So that was Lumberjacks head coach Colten St. Clair. Now we'll hear from 3 players from the Lumberjacks. All the way on the right side is defenseman Carter Amico. Carter's committed to Boston University, had a bit of a unique trip to Muskegon, start of the year in the NCAA, and joined the Lumberjacks partially through the season. Big 6'5" defenseman, wears number 4. He's also a second-round NHL draft pick of the Philadelphia Flyers. Carter Sanderson is here in the middle. He's committed to North Dakota. He's a 2025 NHL draft pick of the Pittsburgh Penguins. And then Jack Christ, future Minnesota State Mankato men's hockey player, fan favorite here in Muskegon, mostly known for his heroics last year in the Clark Cup final and a hat trick in Game 5. Fellas, thank you so much for doing this.
Yeah, thanks, Oz.
Thank you.
So we'll start things off first here with Carter. This is a scenario that you guys have found yourselves in, not just this year, but last year too, playing with the season on the line. How do you draw from these previous experiences as you guys look for a win here in Game 3 at home ice?
I'd say just taking it as the moment comes to you, not looking too far ahead. I think there's guys in this room that really want to fight to live in big moments like that, and I think that us returners and the older guys on this team have kind of been through scenarios like that, whether it's last year on this team or just guys in previous years and teams that they've played for. I think that we've got a really good group to do it, and so I think that when guys are bought in, things go really well for us.
I'm not going to spoil any content that's coming out a little later this year, but something you wrote down at the start of the season is you wanted to go back to the Clark Cup and you wanted to lead your teammates there. And you've done that, before as an alternate captain and now as a captain. How important is it to you to be able to find the success as you round out your junior hockey career?
Yeah, I think it's really good for me, like myself, and my teammates. I think that my success comes through them, and so when I'm at my best is when the team's at their best, and so I think that when I've got guys to support me like that, that's when I can play my best. And so that's definitely a goal of mine. Obviously we're here, but I want to win it again, and when our backs are against the wall, I feel like we almost play better knowing that there's something on the line, never wanting a team to end your season. So,
Jack, you were on the team last year. You won a Clark Cup. You've been in this position. The Clark Cup final games in this building were some of the most exciting games that this building's ever seen. How excited are you for this weekend to get to play in front of a large crowd on your favor?
Yeah, I'm super excited. Personally, I love playing in front of big crowds, and it's going to be really fun to have the support we have here. And, when you go to a building like Sioux Falls and there's thousands of fans cheering against you, sometimes it can be a little more difficult. But when everyone's cheering for you, like we will this weekend, it's going to be a lot of fun.
I love that. And Carter, this is your first Clark Cup final experience. You played at the USN TDP for a couple of years. You went to college hockey. You played in front of big crowds in the Hockey East. How can you draw on those experiences as you prepare to play once again with your season on the line?
I mean, yeah, obviously it's unreal playing here at Muskegon. Really cool playing college hockey too, a lot of big crowds. But I think the biggest thing about this place is, the fans here are just super welcoming. Obviously the guys too from when I came in from BU. But I think the biggest thing is just no matter where it is, not letting the moment get too big, and always just making sure you're having fun and just playing hockey.
We can talk about that transition a little bit. You see a lot of players right now from the USHL and other junior leagues are making the move to the NCAA, and you, having some history with some injuries the past few years, made the decision to come back to the USHL from BU and get your game back underneath you. What kind of went into that decision?
Yeah, obviously it was a hard decision for my family and I. I think it was the best decision I've made in my hockey career. Obviously you had to get more minutes and develop more because, like you said, on the injury, lost a lot of time on the ice throughout the past 2 years. And like I said earlier, the group of guys here are very welcoming, and from the first day I got here, and it made it a lot easier. So that's very good.
How much would you say your game has grown as you've gone through not just the regular season, but now the playoffs with the Lumberjacks?
Tremendously, on and off the ice, the coaches, the guys, taking care of you, telling you, just being coachable, listening to the guys, letting you know we got to do better. And I think when you take care of things off the ice, it definitely leads on the ice, and I've seen that a lot. So.
Carter, you're the first South Dakotan player drafted in the National Hockey League. You're playing against the only South Dakota team in the USHL and the highest ranking hockey team in junior hockey in the state of South Dakota. How big is it for you, and how are you kind of managing all the noise that comes along with that?
Yeah, I think it's super cool as a whole. I think last weekend I might have gotten a little bit too comfortable with the crowd and kind of playing back in my home state. And so this weekend I feel like it'll be good to play at home and me being able to manage all the distractions a whole lot better. That's not saying that I or the team played bad. It's just I won't have as many distractions whatsoever this weekend. And so I'm really excited to take that step. But like you said, I feel even then, going back to South Dakota, it is cool to see all the little kids come out and kind of get to meet them after the game or at the end of the weekend. And so it's fun when I've got kind of kids that look up to me, and so it was super fun.
You've long prided yourself with your game, with your physicality, and making a difference not just on the score sheet, but off the score sheet. We know the fans here in Muskegon love the physicality. It gets them on their feet and gets them loud. How much of an emphasis are you guys putting on the physical game going into Game 3?
I'd say a big one. We know that when we're physical, it gets their defensemen off their game, and we can break down their structure in the O-zone. And so when we take our 50-50 battles personally, and we really go into those knowing that we're going to come out victorious is super great. I think that'll be a huge piece of our game this weekend, and we're all excited for it.
Jack, you guys ran into a really hot netminder last week in Sioux Falls. This is nothing new that you guys have faced in this postseason. What's the message as one of the higher-end offensive players on the lineup as you guys try and figure out the puzzle across the ice?
Yeah, I think looking back to last weekend, there's a lot of guys that had a lot of great scoring opportunities, and we focused a lot on just hitting your spot and picking your corner, and I think a lot of the shots were either going in the chest or right into his glove, and he's got a good glove. So I think it's just be ready for your opportunities, and they can be season changers, so you got to be ready to score them, and you got to pick your spot.
And then finally, last one for me is I'll ask all three of you to kind of just talk to me about how exciting it is to get to play in these games. And Chris, we asked this a little earlier, but just the big crowds, how much of an impact they have in your favor?
Yeah, I'd say, taking it all in, obviously super excited to play in front of all these fans, and, especially ones here at Muskegon, super on our side, and obviously, and just taking our,
I think that just being able to manage the crowd, whether they're cheering for you or against you, I think that going into Sioux Falls, there were obviously thousands of people that were rooting against us. And so going into that, I'm sure everybody was really excited to kind of hopefully be the villain going in there. Obviously, the two games didn't end up how we had imagined, but being able to come back here with a huge support system and all the fans and families around here that do cheer for us, no matter how the game is going. Obviously, they like it more when we're winning, but even off the ice, not even a part of the game, just being able to meet fans and kind of realize how much us and the game means to them. And so I feel like that's super huge.
Any other questions?
Jack, we were talking about, big moments and how everyone kind of wants that. You kind of had the biggest moment in this league that you can achieve personally along with the team. How did you bring that into this year and just kind of into that room?
Yeah, I think it's just a huge confidence booster knowing that I was able to do it last year, that I can hopefully do something like it again this year, and just playing with confidence and knowing that I just need to trust my game. And yeah, going into the finals here, I think that helps me as well, knowing that I've been here before, and just playing with confidence and knowing that I can boost guys by playing well.
And then for all three of you, it's kind of a similar question to, many that have been asked recently. But we've been in this situation before as a team in these playoffs throughout this season, but backs against the wall. How does that kind of add to just your motivation of like, we're not ready to be done yet?
I'd say highly. I think that guys live for moments like this, and so being able to be in them kind of makes it a reality. I think that, like I said earlier, we're almost a better team when we've got our backs against the wall, knowing that guys really want to strive for something more and not letting another team end our season. And so I think that guys will show out this weekend and really prove that.
And then finally, just what would one word be for each of you with your mindset heading into games 3 and 4?
Say just being relentless, staying with the team plan, making sure we're picking up everyone on off the ice, staying positive, and keep going at it. Force a game 5.
I'd say confident.
Yeah, I was actually going to say confidence too. I just think we need to be confident that we can get a couple wins here and bring it to game 5. That's what we want here. And if we're all confident in each other and each other's games, that we can get it done.
Thanks, guys.
Perfect. Anybody else? You have a question for them? No? Awesome. Well, Game 3, Friday night, 7 p.m. here at Trinity Health Arena. And then if we need it, Game 4 on Saturday night, 6 p.m. here in downtown Muskegon. Tickets are still available at MuskegonLumberjacks.com. Thanks, guys. We appreciate you, and we'll see you this weekend.
Thank you.
Thank you.